tradition continues. So sit back and enjoy inter-high basketball on DCTV Cable Channel 34.
From a very loud and what should be a very noisy Dunbar Senior High School, it's the Dunbar Crimson Tide taking on the Cardozo Clerks. Hello again, everyone. I'm Gary Williams. Welcome to Inter-High Basketball right here on DCTV, brought to you by Turning Point Video Productions. Tonight, a big game, the rematch. The Dunbar Crimson Tide hosts the Cardozo Clerks. Both teams come in with a lot of hot streaks involved. Dunbar comes in tonight's game at 26-3 overall. They're 16-1 in the Inter-High. Their only loss came to these Cardozo Clerks. Final score there, 66-57 over at Lincoln Junior High School, the home of the Clerks. Since that time, the Crimson Tide have won 11 straight ball games. Meanwhile, the Cardozo Clerks lost their very first ball game of the year against Archbishop Carroll High School, and they haven't lost since. They haven't lost in more than 2 months. They come into tonight's game with a record of 17-0 in the Inter-High, 19-1 overall. Some big names to talk about, of course, with Dunbar. You've got Michael Smith and Dion Murray. Their inside-outside combination. You've seen them a couple times on DCTV. Meanwhile, Cardozo has Kevin Gregory. They're 6'3" forward. You have Jamal Morgan inside, 6'3" center. And you also have Andre Hall, 6 feet guard, who can shoot well from the three-point arc. Should be a great ball game right here at Dunbar Senior High School. The Dunbar Crimson Tide hosts the Cardozo Clerks. And actually to say this is going to be a good ball game is merely stating the obvious. Stay with us. We've got some great action for you right here on DCTV. Let's get ready for tip-off. Welcome back to Dunbar Senior High School. I'm Gary Williams. I'm joined by C-Roy Robinson tonight. He'll be the color commentator from the DC Public Schools. And C-Roy, very easy to say, a big ball game here tonight.
This is what it's all about. It's come down to the two best teams in the Inter-High, and they're playing for the right to play in the city championship. There's no doubt about it. This is the ball game.
Significance, definite. If Cardozo wins this game, they just about got their ticket wrapped up for that city championship so far this season.
Well, I wouldn't say that because there are always teams who are upset-minded, so they'll have to play out the season. Both teams will. But if Cardozo wins tonight, they're definitely in the driver's seat.
Now, if Dunbar wins, then what happens? Is a point differential situation possible?
Yes, 9 points is everything tonight. Cardozo won by 8 last time, so if Dunbar wins, they have a double problem. They must win by 9 in order to go to the city championship.
They're getting ready to announce the starting lineups here tonight between Cardozo Clerks and Dunbar Crimson Tide. And as they announce the starting lineups, we'll follow them with you. If you followed either one of these teams, then you know there aren't any changes in this lineup. And it's going to be awfully loud here tonight, as you can tell. They're getting ready now to introduce the starting lineup for Cardozo Clerks, coached by Henry Lindsay. 17-0 in the Inter-High, 19-1 overall. They're starting at the guards. Here comes Lorenzo Baylor. He'll wear number 22. He's their spark plug on basketball as he was on the football field.
And he was quite a football player. Later on, I'd like to make a little light of Baylor and Roach. I think that's going to be the matchup tonight.
The other guard spot will be number 21, Andre Hall, who's a wide receiver on that football team. Shoots the three-pointer very, very well. Here's one of the big forwards for the Clerks, Kevin Gregory, number 25. He's a good scorer.
Another football player, so they're a very physical team.
Here comes Vaughn Washington, number 24. He'll be the other forward spot for Cardozo. Now watch number 41 for Cardozo. It'll be Jamal Morgan, a good passer for a big man inside.
Yes, he's played very well all year as a whole Cardozo team. Indicative of their record. They're no surprise. They're really a good team.
Now we have the introduction for the Dunbar Crimson Tide. They're the defending city champions, and they're going to need this victory to get close to that title again.
Well, they know their work is cut out for them. 9 points is everything. You're going to see some unusual coaching strategies tonight, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Coach Lindsay at one point in the game slow it down in order to protect that point differential.
Here comes Lorenzo Baylor's counterpart, Romeo Roach, who runs the floor game for Dunbar and also shoots three-pointer very well. You talk about that matchup between Lorenzo Baylor and Romeo Roach.
I think that's going to be the ball game. I think last time Baylor outplayed Roach, therefore Cardozo won. So I think rather than the big men, Mike Smith, Gregory, they're going to get their point. It's how those two-point guards match up tonight I think is going to determine it.
The other starting guard for Dunbar is Deion Murray, number 13, and the forward is Johnny Rhodes, who had a big game in Dunbar's last victory, a 71-51 victory over Roosevelt. The other forward is James Marshall, number 21, who's played extremely well. And here's the big scorer for Dunbar, Michael Smith, number 32.
Well, he's the man. There's no question about it. He is probably the best player in this city.
Dunbar Crimson Tide, coached by Michael McLeese. And it should be a good ball game here. By the way, Michael Smith, we'll talk about this a little bit later, made the Capital Classic Capital All-Star team and also just recently named to the McDonald's All-American team. A big honor, Leroy.
Well, he deserves it. He's a hard-working kid. He never takes any game for granted. He works hard all the time.
The officials for tonight's game, the referee will be Paul Knott. He has the basketball. He'll be coming to the center of the court. The umpire will be Tony Marlowe. And the medical staff in attendance tonight, Lenore Holloway from the Washington Hospital Center. So here we go. Dunbar in their home white. Cardozo in their road purple. Should be a big one here tonight from Dunbar Senior High School. Michael Smith to jump in, along with Vaughn Washington. Correction, that will be Vaughn Washington. The tip controlled by Dunbar. Gets Johnny Rose. He'll bring across to Deion Murray. Cardozo starting off in that 2-3 zone, Leroy. Trying to make Dunbar shoot from the outside.
That they will. And Rhodes and Murray will take the shot, as Murray's doing now.
Murray with a jumper is no good, and the rebound claimed by Andre Hall. Here come the Clerks. Lorenzo Baylor will run the show. Man-to-man defense by Dunbar. Baylor drives. Good pass inside to Gregory, who scores and he's fouled.
Well, I want to tell you that play was made by Lorenzo Baylor. He penetrated, he got inside of Romeo, and he dished the ball off to his forward. Baylor is stronger than Roach, and I think that's going to have an effect on the game.
Dunbar foul called on number 15, Johnny Rhodes, his first and the first team foul. Now send Gregory to the line to try to complete the three-point play. 7:32 remaining, first quarter. Cardozo lead 3-0. Dunbar inbound. Here comes Romeo Roach. He'll bring it across. And now Henry Lindsay stretches up in almost like a 1-3-1 as Johnny Rose takes the three-pointer. And the rebound claimed by Vaughn Washington. Here comes Kevin Gregory. He'll give to Lorenzo Baylor. Looks inside to Washington. Pass Johnny Rose. A nice play by James Marshall. Washington hold it now. Baylor for three. Rebound claimed by Andre Hall. Fakes the shot. Now drives to Washington. Goes up. Rebound claimed by Michael Smith.
Well, you can see there's a very intense play, and it's going to be this way all night. The substitution patterns are not going to be as a normal game. You will not see the reserves too much tonight. They're going to go all the way.
Here comes Romeo Roach. Over to Johnny Rose as Dunbar is in a matchup. Now Rose is open. He'll take it. Johnny Rose for the first field goal for Dunbar with 6:33 remaining, first quarter. Cardozo leads 3-2. Here they come the other way. Vaughn Washington, deflected by Marshall, but scored again. This time by Vaughn Washington. Jamal Morgan, excuse me.
Dunbar is going to have to improve their defense on the inside. Their penetration is killing them. They're getting inside for easy layups. They can't shoot outside shots, and Cardozo makes layups all night. They can't win that way.
Here comes Roach on the drive, and he'll score. Roach's first field goal. That'll make it a 5-4 Cardozo lead. We approach the 6-minute mark here in the first quarter. I'm Gary Williams, along with Leroy Robinson of the D.C. Public Schools. And the pace is breathtaking so far, Leroy.
I think they're going to keep it up all night. Dunbar is now extending their defense, and they're going to try to cut off some of this inside shot.
By stolen, here comes Deion Murray for Dunbar. Murray will drive, and he'll score. Dunbar takes the lead, 6-5, with 5:42 remaining and counting in the first quarter. The drive inside, scored by Kevin Gregory. And Gregory does it all inside. He's a good move inside. Give him 5 points on the night. Cardozo takes the lead 7-6.
Again, they got to cut him off inside. They're going to try to drive and go inside.
Roach for 3. Rebound fought for. And the pass. Rebounded. Here comes the blown pass. Stolen by Dunbar. Here they come up the court. Woman Roach, and the ball goes out of bounds. And this crowd is unbelievable here at Dunbar Senior High School. With 5:09 remaining in the first quarter, those has a 7-6 lead.
Well, this is inner high basketball at its best. I think we've got some of the best athletes in the city, and they're really going to put on the show, and they have put on the show so far.
We approach the 5-minute mark. Romeo Roach controlling Lorenzo Baylor. Now the pass goes out of bounds. It'll go to Dunbar. We approach the 5-minute mark here in the first quarter. Cardozo 7, Dunbar 6. Here comes Roach to bring it across for Deion Murray. As Cardozo sinks back into that 2-1-2 zone. Inside to Michael Smith. Michael Smith goes up, shoots, scores, and he's fouled.
Mike Smith is a dominating ball player. As you can see by his move, he can dominate inside, and they've got to get it inside to him most of the night to be successful. Keep in mind, they're always looking at the scoreboard. They're looking at 9 points, and Cardozo knows that.
Vaughn Washington for Cardozo, number 24, called for the foul, his first and the first team foul. Michael Smith makes the free throw for the three-point play. That'll make it a 9-7 Dunbar lead.
That's Dunbar's first lead of the night, and we'll see how Cardozo handles it.
Here comes Jamal Morgan. He has trouble. The ball stolen by Deion Murray. Murray will drive and miss the shot, but followed by Johnny Rhodes. Rhodes has 4 points on the night. 4:34 remaining. 11-7 Dunbar. Here comes Cardozo, bringing it across. Kevin Gregory drives to Andre Hall. What a jam.
There's nothing I can say. The action speaks for itself.
Here comes James Marshall with the rebound. Here is Vaughn Washington. Ball goes out of bounds. There'll be a foul called underneath. And let's see who Paul Knott makes the call on. And the foul is called on. See, they called a foul on Johnny Rhodes, his second, and the second team foul, number 15. Here comes Kevin Gregory, who will bring the ball down the lane all the way.
Dunbar has got to stop their penetration. They're getting layups, and if they shoot that all night, it's going to be a long night for Dunbar.
We're tied at 11 under the 4-minute mark here in the first quarter. Deion Murray driving the lane. He gets steps out of bounds, and the ball goes over to Cardozo. 3:52 to go, first quarter. We're tied at 11 here at Dunbar Senior High School. I'm Gary Williams, along with Leroy Robinson of the D.C. Public Schools. Comes Lorenzo Baylor. He'll bring it across to Kevin Gregory. Over to Andre Hall for 3. It goes in there. Andre Hall's first three-point field goal. That'll make it a 14-11 Cardozo score. 3.5 to play here in the first quarter. Here comes Romeo Roach bringing it across. Johnny Rhodes. Back to Rhodes. Roach to Rhodes. Here comes Rhodes for the three-pointer. And the rebound claimed by Kevin Gregory. The outlet to Lorenzo Baylor. 4-on-1 for Cardozo. Baylor goes all the way. Scores.
Baylor simply overpowered Roach at that point in time. Dunbar has got to slow them down. They're going to run on them, and they're not afraid of them.
Cardozo now has a 5-point lead when he goes to the 3-minute mark, 16-11. Roach now has a fakes the three-pointer, now goes to Rhodes. Rhodes inside to Marshall. And a foul called. That'll be on Andre Hall for Cardozo, number 21. For Hall, his first and the second team foul for the Clerks.
It's a stifling place. I don't know what they're going to do in terms of bringing their reserves in, because the game is so important, and the substitution pattern tonight, it would be both coaches it's going to be strange for them. It's not going to be their usual.
Three-point attempt by Deion Murray is no good, and the rebound claimed by Jamal Morgan. And Murray's got to be a key as far as shooting is concerned. His outside jump can open up that zone for Cardozo. Here comes Andre Hall. He'll drive, go up, and the rebound claimed by Morgan. Morgan looking for someone to pass it to. But the pass deflected and stolen by James Marshall. Here comes Dunbar. Marshall to Michael Smith for the jam. Michael Smith has 5 points to make it 16-13 for those who lead.
Mike Smith is a dominant player. That's why he's going to the Big East next year to Providence.
Traveling call. The traveling call on Cardozo, and Dunbar will get the ball with 2:07 remaining in the first quarter. Cardozo leads 16-13. We approach the 2-minute mark. We have a huge crowd. It is packed here tonight here at Dunbar Senior High School, and sometimes right here at our vantage point we're blocked off as Cardozo steals the pass at the 3-on-2. Here comes Rhodes. Baylor to Gregory for the score. Gregory has 9 points in this quarter, and an 18-13 Cardozo 5-point lead. 1:41 remaining and counting in the first quarter. Here comes Rhodes. Over to Roach. Roach for 3. Count it. Romeo Roach has 5 tonight. That'll make it 18-16. The Cardozo lead is cut to 2. Comes Baylor to Hall. Hall for 3. And the rebound claimed by Michael Smith. Smith finds Roach to Murray. And Murray has to get going from the outside in order to get in there. Roach with 3. 2 in a row.
That's the matchup I'm talking about. And Romeo now is taking the shots that he can make. Baylor will have to drive on Roach to control him, but Romeo must make that outside shot.
Pass thrown by Dion Murray. He'll go up and score. And Dunbar has a 3-point lead, 21-18, with just 45 seconds to go in the first quarter. And Seroy is going to be like this all night. He may not have any voice left.
This is his best. This is the best.
Now, double team effort by Marshall and Rhodes. The ball came right in front of our vantage point. And I'll give Dunbar the ball back with 35 seconds to go in the first quarter. And the Crimson Tide have a 3-point lead. Coming in for Cardozo's number 14, Joe Belches. He replaces Lorenzo Baylor. Dunbar inbound. Rhodes to Roach, and they swing back and forth. 2-on-2 zone by Cardozo. 23 seconds to go. Roach for 3 again. He's hot. He's hot from the outside.
Well, this is supposed to be a big man show, but the little guys are showing the way. As I predicted, I thought the matchup between Rhodes and Baylor is going to be the key one tonight.
As Jamal Morgan scores from inside. Second field goal for Morgan. Now make it 24-20 as we reach the end of a very spirited first quarter. I have already lost part of my voice, I think. And as Seroy Robinson talked about the matchup between Lorenzo Baylor and Romeo Roach, look at the scoring totals, Seroy. We have 8 points for Roach and 6 of those, make that 11 points for Roach, 9 of those coming from three-point land.
Well, that's the shot that he takes best. I saw him play against Phelps, and he can make that shot. He can make that all night long if you give it to him. I think now that Cardozo is going to have to put somebody on him and keep it staying to his chest. By the same token, they're going to have to stop Baylor from driving. Once Baylor drives, he can set up the big men for Cardozo. So watching the scoreboard, 24-20, 5-point difference, and that's what the ball game is all about. 9 points here tonight.
Long way to go here in this ball game. We're just getting into the second quarter. Dunbar sends out Romeo Roach, number 12, number 13, Dion Murray, 15 is Johnny Rhodes. 22 in the ball game for Dunbar is Kenyatta Massey, and 32 Michael Smith. For Cardozo, we have Kevin Gregory, number 25, inbounding. 14 is Belches. 24 in the ball game, Vaughn Washington, and he's called for traveling there. Also in for Cardozo, 41 Jamal Morgan, and 21 Andre Hall.
Well, Cardozo is going to have to maintain his poise through this next quarter. Dunbar's been there before. They know what it's all about. They've been to Vegas. They've been many places. So they're the team with the experience. They will have to maintain their poise.
As Roach drives and scores. Give him 13 on the night, 26-20. Dunbar lead is stretched to 6. 7.5 to play, second quarter. Those that bring it across. Vaughn Washington gets tied up and fouled by Roach. For Roach, his first and the third team foul for the Crimson Tide. So it's 7:31 to go, second quarter. Dunbar has a 6-point lead, 26-20. As Rhodes will check out, and he'll be replaced by Jermaine Brown, number 11 for Dunbar. And I think Brown's the key, C. Roy, because he also has to go against that Cardozo press. And Brown gets the ball, and he leads a fast break for the Crimson Tide, and he gets deflected out of bounds by Andre Hall.
Well, Jermaine is a very good reserve, and he's spelled Romeo very ably this year, so he can handle the ball. Also, Deion Murray can handle the ball, so they've got actually 2 point guards on the floor if they should need them.
Deion Murray has the ball now. He's changing passes with Jermaine Brown as Cardozo's in the 2-1-2 zone. Here's Rhodes over to Jermaine Brown. He thinks about a three-pointer. Now Murray bringing it across. Now Brown is called for traveling. He wanted to drive inside, saw nothing there. Coming in for Dunbar will be number 21. That's James Marshall back in the ball game. And for Cardozo will be number 15, Edward Williams. And Williams, I saw recently when Cardozo played Wilson, played a good ball game for the Clerks. So let's see what he does here. We approach the 7-minute mark in the second quarter. Dunbar has the lead 26-20. Cardozo has the basketball. Here comes Gregory. He'll pass far side to Williams, gets the shot deflected out of bounds by Marshall.
Again, Dunbar is extending this defense, and that's how they jumped off to this 6-point lead. They're going to have to play the defensive front floor very hard in order to beat them by 9. Very, very hard.
Inside Belches. That's inside the Washington. Gets the shot deflected, and a foul is called on Belches. For Belches, his first, and the third team foul for number 14 to Cardozo. So Dunbar has the ball in a 6-point lead in front of a standing room crowd at home here at Dunbar Senior High School, First and N Streets Northwest. A big ball game here. Significance going left and right, and Leroy Robinson and I have talked about that so far in this ball game. Here comes Jermaine Brown, pass to Rhodes. Thinks about it, now gives to Marshall. Marshall gets double teamed, now back out to Brown. Dunbar patiently working the offense, now inside to Marshall, who scores. James Marshall's first field goal, 28-20, but here comes Cardozo right back as Kevin Gregory scores. Gregory has 11 points so far in this half, played extremely well so far. 28-22 our score. Here comes Jermaine Brown. Brown gives to Rhodes over to Marshall. They set it back up. Now Murray has the ball on the right side. Over to Marshall, tries baseline, now gets double teamed. With Murray inside to Michael Smith. Deflected by Gregory. And the outlet stolen by Johnny Rhodes. The pass back inside to Marshall. Will go up and score in a beautiful move.
Dunbar is really playing. They're playing very hard on the offensive boards. They kept the ball alive then and got the second shot. They've got to get Deion Murray into the ball game. He's been rather quiet, but he is, next to Michael Smith, he may be the best player on the floor. And he has not had the kind of ball game that he's going to need for them to go.
We have 5:38 and the clock is running as Cardozo's called a timeout with a score Dunbar 30, Cardozo 22. The clock is still running as we have an 8-point lead with 5:22 remaining in the second quarter. Dunbar will have the ball coming out as Cardozo lost the ball in transition there, Leroy.
I couldn't hear you that time.
This crowd has gotten extremely loud here as Dunbar's fans are really getting into it.
Well, I tell you, I don't know about the other broadcasts, but if there were anything like this one, you've learned how to broadcast in difficult conditions. It's been a very controlled crowd, but they've been a very noisy crowd.
Dunbar has the ball coming in. Deion Murray fakes, fires, and it doesn't fall. Rebound fought forward into the hands of Warren Washington. Here comes Cardozo driving all the way. Missed the shot, and the rebound claimed by Jermaine Brown. Under 5 minutes to play. Here comes Brown. He loses it. And the pass thrown by Washington. Let's see if they'll hold it up. No, Gregory's going to bring it across. He gets fouled by Deion Murray. For Murray, his first, number 13 of Dunbar, his fourth team foul for the Crimson Tide.
I can't say enough about Deion. Deion made a good defensive play that time because I think that Cardozo was on the move to score. Deion has got to get into the ball game scoring-wise. He averages over 16 points a game, So they need him tonight to do what they have to do.
Washington tries the three-pointer, doesn't go. Gets deflected into the hands of James Marshall. Marshall goes behind his back. Now passes out to Murray for three. And the rebound claimed by Stacey Jenkins, who's in the ball game for Cardozo. Just under 4.5 to play. Cardozo has the ball and they're down by 8. Here comes Washington. He'll score. Vaughn Washington's first field goal. That'll make it 30-24. Dunbar has the ball and a 6-point lead. Jermaine Brown bringing it across. Here comes Deion Murray. He'll stop and pop, and it drops. Deion Murray has 6 on the night. That'll make it 32-24. Dunbar stretched the lead back to 8. Under 4 minutes to play. Here comes Washington. Double team. Now finds Stacey Jenkins, but the ball stolen by James Marshall. Here comes Jermaine Brown bringing it across. 3:46 and counting. Here comes Johnny Rhodes. Rhodes looking to Brown. Brown finds Marshall. He gets double teamed. Now back to Brown. We approach the 3.5-minute mark. Michael Smith coming in. He goes up. Missed the shot. Gets his own rebound. Missed again. And the ball goes out of bounds to Dunbar. Good rebounding by Michael Smith.
Michael is doing his job inside. He's dominant. He kept the ball alive, and he should have dropped those shots, but they're not falling. They're going to have to get the ball into Michael, and they're going to have to keep Deion scoring.
Dunbar inbounds to Deion Murray. Murray now to Jermaine Brown. Man-to-man defense. Andre Hall playing on Deion Murray. As the shot is missed by Damon Singletary's in the game now for Dunbar, but Dunbar gets back set. Jermaine Brown and Michael Smith. What a jam.
What a shot feed by Brown. Brown is doing a very good job. He's giving Romeo Roach a lot of rest, and that's going to be key, I think.
Renzo Baylor, who's back in the game, hits a three-pointer, and the rebound angrily changed by Michael Smith. Dunbar has the ball in a 10-point lead, 34-24. Comes Singletary. He'll give to Brown. Dunbar with the momentum at home. Here comes Michael Smith. Rebound to Kevin Gregory. Here comes Gregory bringing to Baylor. Baylor drives all the way. What a move by Baylor.
Fantastic little athlete.
34-26. Dunbar has the ball in an 8-point lead. 2:20 remaining in counting in the first half. Jermaine Brown passes, goes out of bounds to Cardozo.
I think Lorenzo Baylor in the last couple of plays have exhibited the leadership that he's going to have to exhibit tonight, because for a while it looks like they were losing their poise, and they were behind by 10, and they know what the magic number is, as well as Dunbar. But Lorenzo is beginning to take over, and he's giving them a lot of leadership right now.
Here comes Cardozo bringing it across as Lorenzo Baylor runs the show. Andre Hall, number 21, also in. He goes near side. Stacey Jenkins goes out of bounds. And let's see if Paul not called a foul. No, I think they're just going to get the ball out of bounds. Standing room only crowd here at Dunbar Senior High School. There's Lorenzo Baylor. Gets the 2-1-2 zone at Dunbar. Gives to Stacey Jenkins. Now 3-point attempt by Andre Hall is good. Andre Hall's second 3-pointer of the night. That'll cut the lead to 5, 34-29. Here comes Jermaine Brown. Been across. Here comes Deion Murray. Now Cardozo section of the crowd here turning it on. Murray looks inside to find Kenyatta Massey, and he gets fouled by Cardozo's number 41. That's Jamal Morgan. Morgan his first and a fourth team foul for the Clerks. It takes 5 to go into 1-and-1, so in the next foul, both teams will go into the bonus. How important, C-Roy, will foul shooting be in tonight's game?
Foul shooting is always critical. The team that can make its foul shots has a good chance of winning any ball game. They can stay in the ball game at the foul line. Dunbar is a pretty good good shooting team. I don't know if Cardozo's statistic, but Dunbar is.
As Michael Smith gets the jam and the foul. And he celebrates with some of the Dunbar fans. The foul will be called on 25 for Cardozo. Kevin Gregory, his first and a fifth team foul.
Mike Smith is beginning to exert himself, and of course he's getting good feeds from his guards and his forwards. So Dunbar they're into their game. Baylor I think, is again going to have to show the way to the Cardozo team. He knows how to win. He's been there.
Michael Smith makes the free throw. I tell you, the first time these two teams met, Michael Smith didn't exert himself. He only had 9 points in that ball game. He so far has 10 points in the first half of play. Comes Kevin Gregory. Gregory gives to Andre Hall, shoots an air ball, and a rebound by Damon Singletary gets fouled. Did they call the foul? Let's see what happened here. It is absolutely pandemonium here tonight at Dunbar Senior High School. And we can't really tell from our vantage point, but a player is down, I believe, Leroy. And it may just be Michael Smith. It is indeed Michael Smith down. Couldn't really tell what happened on that play. We're blocked by standing room only crowd on this side. I can't really tell whether or not Michael Smith hurt his stomach or hurt a leg of some sort. We have 1 minute, 17 seconds to go in the second quarter. Dunbar has an 8-point lead, 37-29. It may have been a shoulder, or he may have got an elbow in the stomach. Let's see what happens here. And the trainer over there, along with, I believe, Lenora Holloway. It's hard to tell from our vantage point who is working on him. And the crowd trying to encourage Michael Smith to get back up here. Listen to him for a second. It may be his shoulder, as Leroy Robinson went over to check a little bit. Leroy, look like it might have been his shoulder.
From what I can see, it looks as if they're tending to his shoulder. The crowd is so, we can't get a very good view, but it looks like they're tending to his shoulder, his left shoulder, I believe.
We seem to be stating the obvious tonight as far as the magnitude of this ball game, but if Michael Smith were to get injured and not be able to play the rest of this ball game, to say it'd be a big blow for Dunbar would be simply stating the obvious.
No question about it. He was beginning to exert himself, as we said before. He had about 10 points on the night, and he was beginning to control the board. He is the key man for Dunbar, but they're a deep team, so even if he should go out, I don't expect Dunbar to just roll over and die, and I don't think Cardozo will either.
So a long way to go in this game. 1:17 to play in the second quarter. Dunbar 37, Cardozo 29. As Michael Smith seems to be getting up okay. And look like he seems to be in good shape, Leroy. Doesn't seem to be holding anything.
Well, he's a tough kid. And if you knew him last year, he's grown some too. He's a good 6'6", 6'7", and a good 200-some pounds.
As Lenora Holloway, she's in the green sweater there from the Washington Hospital Center, was out there checking on Michael Smith. We start playing the second quarter. Dunbar has the ball in an 8-point lead as Jermaine Brown drives, missed the shot and the rebound fought for. And it'll be a foul called. Let's see who Paul now gives a foul to. That'll be on Andre Hall for Hall. His second. Both teams now over the limit. Into the game for Dunbar will be number 24, James Berry. He plays James Marshall. That foul was called also, not on Andre Hall, number 21 for Cardozo, but on 21 for Dunbar. That'll be James Marshall, his first. Both teams now over the limit. 1:06 to play in the second quarter.
It's getting pretty heated, and Coach Lindsay has taken Baylor out for losing his cool out there, and he's sitting him down and talking to him. It's an important game, so here's hoping cool heads will prevail in here tonight.
Right now, we see Kenyatta Massey, along with Andre Hall, both teams' captains. Especially that's Kevin Gregory out there for Cardozo. Both teams' captains talking about trying to keep their tempers under control, and I think the fans have to do the same thing on this end. It's a packed house. We've stated many times before so far in this ball game. And everybody has to keep their cool head and let the players play. 1 minute and 6 seconds to go in the second quarter. Dunbar 37, Cardozo 29. Vaughn Washington will go to the line for the Clerks for a 1-and-1 situation.
The D.C. Public School Security and the Metropolitan Police Force, they seem to be doing a pretty good job. So I think Cool Hills will prevail. These youngsters are fired up. It's an emotional game for them. Everybody wants to go to Cole Fieldhouse. So they will conduct themselves properly.
Washington misses the field goal, the free throw, so as he approaches the 1 minute mark, Dunbar has the ball. From Singletary, he'll give to Brown. Brown gets double teamed and the ball goes out of bounds over to Cardozo. As Michael Smith checks back into the game, much to the relief of the Dunbar fans.
Well, that's good news for Dunbar, and it's good news for Michael. He's a very fine young man. He works very hard at basketball. He's beginning to exert himself. He seems to be okay.
Baylor tries to drive the baseline. Ball goes out of bounds. It'll stay with Cardozo. Of course, Michael Smith made the Capital Classic All-Star team, and we'll try to talk about that a little bit at halftime as the alley-oop to Kevin Gregory. 13 points for Gregory. That'll make it a 37-31 game with 36 seconds to play in the second quarter.
Win, lose, or draw here tonight. I mean, I don't care which team wins or loses. We've seen some fantastic basketball and some fantastic athletes.
Damon Singletary missed the shot, but he gets his own rebound, and he gets fouled underneath. And the foul will be called on Jamal Morgan. For Morgan, his second, number 41 for Coolidge, for Cardozo, excuse me. And both teams now in the bonus with 19 seconds to play in the second quarter.
Well, I think Coach Lindsey is going to have to take his ball club inside and tell them they got to maintain their poise. They got to stop losing their cool. They've lost their cool a little bit here in the last 2 or 3 minutes, and it's cost them. Dunbar has been able to maintain their lead, and believe me, they have their eye on 9 points, and so does Cardozo.
Damon Singletary missed the first free throw, and Kevin Gregory, number 25, breaks down number 15 for Cardozo. That's Edward Williams in the ball game. As Singletary tries for his second free throw. He'll make that one. That'll make it a 38-31 Dunbar 7-point lead with 18 seconds and counting in the first half of play. Here's Baylor. Baylor drives. Missed the shot and the rebound claimed by Michael Smith with 9 seconds. Smith takes it all the way to Deion Murray, who goes up, missed the shot, but Smith there for the follow. Smith has 12. At the end of the first half, it's Dunbar 40, Cardozo 31, Leroy.
Well, it's the magic number by 2. Coach Lindsey has his work cut out for him at halftime. He's got to go in and settle them down. They're a very good ball club. They're better than what they've shown this second quarter. They were in the ball game, but they began to make, judgment mistakes. They were too aggressive. They didn't sit back and play their ball game. Baylor began to take over, but he got a little emotional, and they're just not playing their ball game. To Dunbar's credit, they are staying with their ball game. They're getting it inside to Michael Smith. He's exerting himself. Deion Murray is not himself tonight, but he's scoring when he has to. And Romeo Roach, he has played a fantastic game, and so has Jamal Brown. They've given him almost 1 quarter rest. So you'll have a fresh Romeo Roach coming back out and some pretty fresh reserves from Dunbar.
It's halftime from a very loud Dunbar Senior High School. I'm Gary Williams, and I have the pleasure of being joined by the athletic director here at the D.C. Public Schools, Sam Jones. And Mr. Jones, thank you for being with us.
It's nice to be with you, Gary. However, this is a big game tonight. As you know, Dunbar is trying to beat Cardozo because this would make them be tied for first place in the City League.
No question about that. Talk about the progress that has been made in the high since you took over.
Well, hopefully we're going to make even more progress next year. As you know, I came under some duress because of the medical coverage. Next year it will be better, and certainly the season will be shorter but better.
How about fan appreciation from the community as well as the fans at all the schools?
Well, we all got to have communication, and certainly if we can have communication along with everybody in the school system. We're also going to get it from the community, and we interact with each other.
We talked about progress. Some of the progress you've made as part of your tenure is getting involved in negotiations for the girls' city title basketball game. How is that going?
Oh, I'm sure it's going to go all right. I think that in the paper today they made some mistakes. Dr. Jenkins does not know about this city championship yet. We got all the formalities together. I'll present that to him, and I'm sure that he will okay it.
Where will the game be held? Is there any word yet?
Well, we have two sites. We have Gonzaga and we have Coolidge. I'm preferring Coolidge because of the crowd. I think our girls can draw that crowd, and I also think the Catholic girls can bring a good crowd with them. So we got a gym that will seat about 5,000 people. It's a nice gym. The games will be held at 1 and 3 o'clock, so I feel that we will play at Coolidge.
Final question. What about the progress you want to make for the future? Any plans toward that?
Well, certainly there's a few things I'd like to see. I'd like to see for our athletes, and I don't mean to be prejudiced, but I'd like to see a strong tutorial system. We know our athletes want to go from here to college and play for all the good teams. If we got a strong tutorial system to give those people like John Thompson, American University, George Washington, Howard University, a chance to recruit and keep our kids in the city.
Okay, well, the best luck with that the rest of the way, Mr. Jones. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much, Gary.
This is Sam Jones, the athletic director for the D.C. Public Schools, here at halftime. Let's look at the scoring totals for the first half of play for the Cardozo Clerks. We have Andre Hall with 8, Lorenzo Baylor with 4, Vaughn Washington with 2, Kevin Gregory, high scorer for the Clerks, at 13, and Jamal Morgan with 4 in that first half. I think Morgan has to score a little bit inside to counteract the play of Michael Smith.
He has to, but I don't think they depend on him to score so much as they do to play the good defense. He did a very good job on Michael the first game, and he's not doing a bad job tonight. Michael is going to be close to his average. I expect Michael to get his average, but they didn't stop Romeo. Romeo has gotten, he's averaging only 7 or 8 points a game. He has, 12 now. So that's been a big difference in the game. Of course, Hall is doing a very good job on Deion Murray. So I expect this next quarter and the next half to be just as exciting as this one. I think the Cardozo Clerks are going to have to extend their defense and gamble a little bit to bring back this game to what they need to win. See, a victory for them tonight will be not to win the game, but not to lose by more than 8 points.
For Dunbar, we have the scoring of Damon Singletary, 1 point. Romeo Roach, as we stated earlier, the high scorer for the Crimson Tide, 13 points, and 9 of those coming off the three-point arc, 3 3-pointers in that first quarter. Deion Murray with 6, Johnny Rose with 4, James Marshall has 4, and Michael Smith has 12. We talked about free throw shooting earlier on, Roy. One of the big keys when Dunbar beat Flint Hill, we had that game here on DCTV. Dunbar went 18 of 23 from the line. Michael Smith went 11 for 12 and hit his first 9 free throws in that ball game.
Well, I haven't seen the statistics as yet, and we'll probably give them to you in a few minutes. But again, down the stretch, whichever team makes the free throws, that's the team that's going to win. But victory tonight is, again, I can never stress it enough, it's in 2 different terms. For Dunbar, win by 9. For Cardozo, don't lose by more than 8. So when it comes down to the ball game, I expect Coach Lindsey to slow the ball games down somewhere at some time or other. He hasn't in the first half, and I'm a little surprised at that. But if he can slow the ball game down and keep it within his magic number, he knows what he has to do.
Talk about free throw shooting. Both teams haven't gone to the free throw line as much in the first half. Dunbar's 3 of 4 from the line, and Cardozo is 1 of 2. So at halftime, we have Dunbar 40 and Cardozo 31. Quickly, let's talk about the Capital Classic choices. The Capital All-Star team that will participate against the best in the U.S. was recently announced, and we have that list for you. Let's talk about first the inner high representatives. The representative Michael Smith of Dunbar, who you're seeing tonight, and Frank Martin, the great shooter out of Anacostia. The coach of the team will be Henry Lindsay of Cardozo, so it's good, interesting there. And they're joined by some great talent. Grant Hill, South Lakes High School in Virginia. Dickie Simpkins out of Friendly. Lawrence Moten and Charles Harrison, the backcourt combination out of Carroll. Randolph Childress out of Flint Hill High School, great guard there. Darnell White of Stewart, who's also a very good football player, as is Lawrence Moten, of course. DeMathis Kenny Blakeney, Gonzaga's forward Robert Churchwell, and Kristen Ast out of High Point, who's originally from West Germany. And also an at-large berth that went to Kendrick Warren, who's out of the Thomas Jefferson High School in Richmond, Virginia. The question, though, as the game is going to be played on March 27th, the question, where are the representatives from Cardozo as far as players concerned, and where is Michael Robinson from Ballou?
Well, there's always some politics in it, and the Catholic leagues, you know, and I'll say it quite frankly, they dominate the selection process around here. I think the best basketball is played in the inner high. I think we have the best basketball players. I think that most of the Catholic League players who are there now are nurtured and grown in our elementary schools and our junior high schools, and they, of course, may choose to go to the Catholic League to play basketball and to get their education. So while I'm a little jealous that we don't have all the players, I really know that most of those players are ours anyway.
We talk about also preseason publicity. All the names we just mentioned have had some sort of recognition in somebody's high school basketball yearbook. Cardozo, unfortunately, hasn't gotten as much recognition as a lot of the other teams have.
Well, to say that Coach Lindsey will be the coach, I think, is some consolation. He's a rather good coach. He's been out in the trenches a long time. He works very well with youngsters, and I'm sure he's going to do a very fine job in the Capital Classic. I think that a couple of his players, particularly Gregory and Hall, should have had an opportunity to play for the coach. But when you got players like Moten, Blakeney, and all of them, there's just not enough room for all of them.
Hard to keep a lot of them off, no question about that. Now, three of those players, Michael Smith, Grant Hill, and also Kendrick Warren of Richmond, made the McDonald's All-American team. Now, close to 1,200 basketball players around the country were considered for that honor, and only 20 were selected. One of those from the inner high, Michael Smith.
Well, Michael Smith has shown his greatness over the past 3 seasons for Dunbar. Last year, he was the primary reason that Dunbar won the city championship. There's no doubt about it. Donald Ford made the shots, but Michael Smith did all the work in the trenches. He rebounded, he ran the floor well, he played the defense, he did everything necessary. He is very deserving of any honor, All-American, you name it. He is very deserving of any honor he is. I think Providence has really profited very well by signing Michael Smith.
Michael Smith did indeed commit early to Providence. I talked to Mike McLeish about that, and he said that Providence would be a perfect complement to Michael Smith's ball game. They might start him at the power forward, but he should be perfect for Rick Barnes' Providence system.
Well, we haven't seen Michael's outside shooting because of what he's asked to do in high school. But he can shoot from the outside, as I've seen him in practice, and I've seen him in some shoot-around games and playground games and so on. I saw Providence play, of course, the other night, and we saw what they did to Georgetown, and I can see him playing very well in Rick Barnes' system.
Don't forget, next week we'll be right back here at Dunbar Senior High School to see the Dunbar Crimson Tide take on the Coolidge Colts. Now, Coolidge Colts are in an interesting situation. They've got to play both these teams in the next couple of weeks, Cardozo and Dunbar, and they could cause a little wrench in the process for both teams.
Well, as we said at the beginning of the broadcast, that while this game is the big game, it is not the game that could end all, because both these teams have to finish out the season, and they have to finish out very strongly. So an upset by Coolidge in either case would throw a different light on the tournament, on the tournament, and also on the game at Cole Fieldhouse.
As we talk about that tournament will be at Coolidge Senior High School from the 26th through the 28th of February. Should be a tremendous tournament, and also some great teams. We talked about the inner high as some of the best basketball, if not the best basketball in the entire nation, and this game certainly evidence of that, Leroy.
I tell you, they're really going at it. Both teams are giving their all, and no matter what the outcome is, I think D.C., the inner high, the D.C. public schools can be very proud of these youngsters here, both playing the game and in the crowd.
Okay, we're getting ready to start the third quarter of play here at Dunbar Senior High School. The officials are Paul Knott, who's the referee, and the umpire is Tony Marlowe. And the medical staff, once again, from the Washington Hospital Center, is Lenora Holloway. Dunbar will send out the starting five who started the ball game. Number 12, Romeo Roach. We had 13 points in that first half. Number 15 is Johnny Rose. 13, Deion Murray. 21, James Marshall. 32, Michael Smith. For Cardozo, 21, Andre Hall. 22, Lorenzo Baylor. 25, Kevin Gregory. 41, Jamal Morgan. 24, Vaughn Washington. Here we go, second half. Dunbar has the lead and the ball, 40-31. I'm Gary Williams, along with Leroy Robinson of the D.C. Public Schools. Cardozo now switched to a man-to-man defense, Leroy. You surprised by that?
No, I'm not. He has to take chances. You know, he's behind by 11 points, and he has to take chances. He's got to extend his defense and use his team's athletic ability to turn this game around.
Deion Murray makes it 11-point lead for Cardozo as a three-point attempt by Kevin Gregory is good. Give Gregory 16 on the night. That'll make it a 42-34 Dunbar 8-point lead. A little less than 7.5 to play in the third quarter. Here's Murray bringing across past Andre Hall. He'll stop and pop, and it drops. Deion just pulls up and makes the shot there.
Well, that's the Deion Murray that I'm used to seeing, and if he's on the second half, it's going to be a long night for Cardozo.
44-34, Dunbar leads by 10 as Andre tries from the outside and misses. Andre Hall, here comes Murray on the outlet. He'll go right past Washington and miss the shot, but the rebound fought for and claimed by Andre Hall. He'll give to Kevin Gregory, and Cardozo brings it to the cross. Gregory will drive, go all the way, gets set deflected, but a foul called on 21 for Dunbar. That's James Marshall. For Marshall, his second, and the first team foul the second half for Dunbar.
Well, we haven't said too much about James Marshall tonight, but he's been playing a tough defense, as evidenced by getting back down the floor and blocking that shot. Dunbar's secondary, or I would say, the people who are not their stars, there's a very good supporting cast. Roach and so on. Roach has been doing a fantastic job tonight.
Kevin Gregory makes the first field goal, free throw. That would be 44-35. Those who cut the lead to 9, they can cut the lead to 8 with a free throw here. Gregory 2 of 2 from the line so far. Misses that one, and the rebound claimed by Johnny Rose for Dunbar. Here comes Deion Murray bringing it across. Michael Smith double teamed inside, now deflected and picked off by Andre Hall. Hall waits for his partners to come across. Now Hall will drive. He'll go up. And the rebound claimed by Morgan, gets the shot deflected by Johnny Rhodes. And out of bounds off the hands of Dunbar. Those retain possession, Leroy.
Well, it's a 9-point lead right now. And I expect that when Coach Lindsay gets inside that magic 9 or 8 mark, he's going to change his strategy. I believe he'll slow it down.
Hall drives the baseline and scores from the outside. That'll make it 10 points for Hall, make it a 44-37. Dunbar, 7-point lead. 6:10 to play. Here comes Romeo Roach. Gives it to Deion Murray, who scores. Then he's fouled. Murray with 6 points in his half. 12 points on the game, Leroy. He may be on a roll now.
He is without a doubt, next to Michael Smith, one of the finest ball players in this city.
Let's charge the foul to 41 for those, I believe. That was Jamal Morgan. It's on Morgan. That's his third and the first team foul as Murray tries for the 3-point play.
Deion, I don't know what school is interested in him. I haven't heard that as yet. But if they take him, they've got one of the best guards they can ever get.
Murray makes it a 47-37 Dunbar 10-point lead as Hall drives and scores. Great drive inside by Andre Hall. Give him 12 on the night. That'll make it a 47-39. Those are not 8-point deficit as Dunbar gets the ball deflected out of bounds.
Well, it's a little early, but if this holds up going into the next quarter, watch for that slowdown. It's got to come.
Murray will drive and score. Deion Murray on fire as he has 9 points in this quarter. That'll make it a 49-39 Dunbar, 10-point lead, 5.5 to play, third quarter. Here comes Kevin Gregory. Gregory gives to Baylor. Now Gregory outside, he'll drive inside now and score a beautiful drive by Kevin Gregory, who has 19 on the night. That'll make it 49-41. Dunbar has the ball in an 8-point lead with 5:09 to play in the third quarter. Deion Murray will stop and pop on the way down and miss. And Marshall gets tied up, and on the possession, the ball will go to Cardozo. So good defense inside by the Clerks.
It's run and shoot basketball, and I think both teams are comfortable at this tempo.
Under 5 minutes to play, as Vaughn Washington drives and misses, and the rebound claimed by Michael Smith. 49-41, Dunbar by 8, 4:48 to play. Inside to Johnny Rhodes, he goes up and scores. Johnny Rhodes has 6 points on the night, back to a 10-point lead, 51-41, Leroy.
Johnny Rhodes and the supporting cast from Dunbar, they're really playing big tonight. Mike Smith is he's wiping the defensive boards clean now.
Here comes Deion Murray, bringing it across. Murray looking inside to Michael Smith, who goes up for the jam, and Michael Smith is taking control.
Coach Lindsey's going to call timeout, I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. At this point in time, he knows he's, 12 points behind. He's going to call time. Yes, there it is.
The crowd in a frenzy for Dunbar, as with 4:19 to play in the third quarter, Dunbar has a 12-point lead, 53-41. Don't forget, next week we'll be at Dunbar Senior High School once again, as the Crimson Tide hosts the Coast of Coolidge, and that should be a big ball game now.
That it is. Coolidge coach can play spoiler, and they don't mind doing that. The coaches up there know what their job is, and they feel that they have an outside chance, although mathematically they appear to be in trouble.
Also, before Coolidge plays Dunbar, Coolidge also has to play Cardozo. And that should be interesting as well, given the outcome of this ball game. So next week, game time 8 o'clock here on DCTV. It'll be Dunbar hosting Coolidge right here at Dunbar Senior High School.
If I was Coach Lindsey now, and if I was over talking to my team, I would remind them that we're not 12 points down. We're 4 points down or 3 points down. So that's he's got to tell them, okay, he's got to tell them that, hey, the magic number is 8, and that's what we've got to get to, and that's what we got to hold them.
Just saw a little bit of Coach Henry Lindsey talking to his ball club as Michael Smith goes to the line where he's 2 of 2 already. And here comes the free throw, make it 2 of 3, but Marshall gets the rebound. He goes up and missed the shot, missed there again. He gets fouled once again. And Michael Smith once again doing the job on the board.
Well, I think Mike is beginning to wear the big people for Cardozo down inside because they're taking both the defensive and offensive boards. Cardozo has got to continue to do what they did the first half. Rebound, shoot well, play good defense.
That foul called on Andre Hall, number 21 for Cardozo, his second, as Michael Smith makes the free throw. That'll make it 54-41, and Dunbar stretched the lead to 13, and you can make it 14 there. 55-41, 4:12 to play, third quarter. I'm Gary Williams, along with Seroy Robinson of DC Public Schools. Renzo Baylor, bringing to Vaughn Washington as Dunbar's back into the man-to-man. Washington drives and scores. Vaughn Washington, second field goal. That'll make it 55-43. We passed the 4-minute mark in the third quarter. Roach gives to Rhodes. Now back to Roach. He'll fake the three-pointer. Now give it back. Man-to-man defense by Cardozo. Inside to Michael Smith. Here he goes. He's in there.
Beautiful assist by Deion Murray. Deion Murray's come to life this half, and it's evident as you look at the scoreboard. Whenever he plays that way, Dunbar is very tough to beat.
57-43 as Kevin Gregory goes up and scores on a follow. Gregory has 21 points on the night. That'll make it 57-45. Dunbar has the ball in a 12-point lead, 3:13 and counting in the third quarter. Here's Murray. Gives the Roach for 3. Rebound, fought for it, over the back. No, they call underneath on Vaughn Washington. Number 24 for Cardozo. That'll be Washington's second foul and the third team foul on the Clerks.
Well, Washington's got to block Smith off. He's got to know where he is, feel him, and push him out. And don't give him Smith's position. When you give Mike Smith position, he's deadly.
Dunbar wants the inbound, but again, the officials, Paul Knott and Tony Marlowe with his back to us, trying to control a little temper down there, and temper's running high throughout this entire gymnasium. It is packed, standing room only, just like it was the first time around at Cardozo's home gym, Lincoln Junior High School. Here comes Romeo Roach getting inside to James Marshall, and a good box out there that you were talking about by Jamal Morgan at Cardozo.
That's what he's going to have to do to Mike Smith. Oh, fantastic.
And Washington drives, but he misses the shot, and rebound claimed by Marshall. And the ball given to Romeo Roach. Here comes Deion Murray for three. Rebound to Michael Smith, who just stole it from Washington. And a foul inside will be called on Vaughn Washington. Number 24 for Cardozo is third. That'll be the fourth team foul for Cardozo. 2:38 remaining in the third quarter. And a timeout called by Dunbar.
I tell you, both teams are playing very hard, and they're playing their game. Coach Lindsay's got to calm his kids down. Dunbar, they're very comfortable in what they're doing right now.
If you're Mike McLeish, what are you telling your ball club right now, C-Roy?
He's telling his ball club they've got to keep playing the basics, getting positions, keeping the ball alive, rebounding well, playing the good defense when they go down the other end of the floor. Control Baylor. Let Gregory have his, but don't let Baylor get off, because Baylor can lead to much more points. Gregory's shooting, but Baylor can cause you a lot more problems.
Michael Smith go back to the line where he's 4 of 5 on the night. Last time we saw Michael Smith in Dunbar, he was 11 of 12. He made his first 9 free throws. Smith hits another one. 19 points for Michael Smith so far, as number 10, Damon Singletary, checks in for Dunbar. He'll place Johnny Rhodes, number 15. Michael Smith making a 14-point lead for Dunbar, and he does so with that free throw. That'll make it 59-45, 2:36 remaining and counting in the third quarter. Here comes Renzo Baylor bringing it across. He'll go for three, and he'll hit it. Renzo Baylor makes it a 59-48, 11-point Dunbar lead, as Baylor now has 7 on the night. Here comes Johnny Rhodes, bringing it over to Jermaine Brown, who's back in the ball game. Brown over to Deion Murray. It's Dunbar. Now Jermaine Brown goes for three. Missed the shot and the rebound. Claimed by Jamal Morgan. Here comes Kevin Gregory bringing it across for Cardozo. Gregory finds Lorenzo Baylor. He'll go for three. Count it. Lorenzo Baylor. 2 straight three-pointers, and Cardozo's back to within 8.
Watch Baylor. I tell you, he's a little player, but he plays big.
Pass inside to Michael Smith, who loses it, and the ball thrown by Baylor. And Baylor again doing the job. Baylor bringing it across, goes all the way up, behind the back pass, goes out of bounds to Dunbar.
I tell you, I'm very impressed with both sets of guards out here. Baylor, Roach, Brown, they're all doing a great job.
1:33 to go in the third quarter. Hoping my voice will last until the fourth quarter, but we'll see what happens there. Dunbar has the ball. They're up by 8. Here comes Damon Singletary. The Cardozo crowd getting into it, a defense chant. Romeo Roach for three. Rebound to Kevin Gregory. And a foul. Oh, no. They said that Roach stepped out of bounds trying to get the ball away from Kevin Gregory.
Well, again, Roach is a senior also, and he's beginning to trying to show his leadership out there. So both little guards are showing the big guys how the game is played.
1:12 and counting here in the third quarter. Cardozo has the ball, and they're down by 8, 59-51. And Baylor trying to move the offense. His Hall, he'll give inside to Washington. Everybody crashes the boards. James Marshall comes down with it for Dunbar. And let's see what Paul not called the foul on. It's going to be on Cardozo. Let's see who's going to be against. It'll be called against Joel Belches, number 14, for Cardozo's second. That'll put Cardozo over the limit and send James Marshall and the Dunbar Crimson Tide to the line. And Dunbar will be there for the rest of the game now.
Well, we've got an 8-point ball game, and Coach Lindsey's down in that plateau where he can again make a coaching decision as to what tempo and what speed is. If he can get around the 5 points, I expect him to slow it down so that he can maintain his 8-point victory, and that's what it would be. Dunbar has to make these free throws, and they're doing a pretty good job at the line so far, but they have to keep it up through this next quarter.
James Marshall tries for the second 2 free throws. He made the first to make it a 60-51 Dunbar 9-point lead. 10-point lead for Dunbar, 61-51, under a minute to play in the third quarter. Here comes Baylor, who'll bring it to Andre Hall. So a matchup zone now by Dunbar. Andre Hall brings it across to Lorenzo Baylor, who'll set it back up. Baylor in the corner. Alongside Kevin Gregory's an air ball on the outlet. Johnny Rose, who tries to get it to Damon Singletary. Singletary loses it out of bounds. And the ball gets stuck up in the roof. Can you believe this? What else can happen in this ball game? With 31 seconds to go in the third quarter, Damon Singletary tried to save the ball, and there's some what look like air ducts up in the top there, and the ball got stuck up in the roof. Can you believe it? They take a shot at where it was, and it was one-on-ones on the left-hand side. So they got a new basketball, under a half minute to play. Cardozo has the ball, and they're down by 10.
For the last shot.
And they'll milk that clock now. 15 seconds now. They may go at 10. Let's see what Henry Lindsey wants them to do. Now they're going to go with 9 seconds. And the pass deflected and picked off by Deion Murray. Murray will stop, pop, and it drops. Deion Murray with 11 points in the third quarter. And that'll make it after 3 quarters. Dunbar 63, Cardozo 51.
Well, I think you saw vintage Deion Murray that quarter, and that's what I was talking about in the first part of the game. He was a little off down on the other end of the court. He wasn't making his shots, but you saw vintage Deion. He gave us 11 points then. He gave us the senior leadership. He gave us everything that he needed. Last year at Cole Fieldhouse, it was Murray, it was Ford, it was Michael Smith. And again, it's Michael Smith and it's Murray.
Deion Murray has 17 points so far in this ball game, 11 in the third quarter. He's taken over, and Michael Smith had 12 in the first half. He already has 20 points for the game. He's hit 4 out of the last 5 free throws, and he is 6 of 7 for the night. Here we go, fourth quarter. Dunbar sends out Rose, 15, Smith, 32, Murray, 13, 21, Marshall. And the other man is number 21, Marshall, and 12 is Romeo Roach. Roach with the basketball. He'll give to Deion Murray. Murray tries to drive, now goes up. Gets trapped inside, but finds Marshall. Shot deflected, he gets his own rebound, and he's called for traveling. Cardozo will send out 14, Joel Belches, 24, Vaughn Washington, 25, Kevin Gregory, 41, Jamal Morgan, and 15, Edward Williams. 7.5 to play. Remember the point differential. Wait a minute, Dunbar gets the steal. Deion Murray stopped. Now try to find Romeo Roach. He does so for Murray. And he's tied up. He's fouled by Edward Williams. For number 15 of Cardozo, his first. And he's over and Cardozo's over the limit. As C. Roy Robinson indicated many times in this ball game, we're up by Cardozo's up by 12, but technically he's only an 8-point lead.
That's right. Coach McLeese was on Dion a little bit about playing around with the ball and being fancy to move it around because he realizes what the score really is.
Dion Murray makes the first free throw. That'll make it a 64-51, 13-point lead for Dunbar. Dion has 18 on the night. Make it 19. 65-51, Dunbar up by 14. Kevin Gregory, bring across to Jamal Morgan, missed the shot and the rebound, claimed by James Marshall of Dunbar. He'll give to Dion Murray and bring it across. Approaching the 7-minute mark in the fourth quarter. Dunbar with the ball in a 14-point lead. Here comes Johnny Rhodes, bringing it to Romeo Roach. And Roach trying to take some time off the clock. Inside to James Marshall. He'll drive and miss. Rebound to Michael Smith. He's triple teamed. Ball stolen by Belches. And a foul will be called on Michael Smith. And that'll be the first foul of the night called on Smith with 6:39 to play. That point differential once again, ladies and gentlemen. Dunbar not only has to win this game to try to force a tie, but he also has to win the game by 9 points or more. So if the two teams end in the first place tie, Dunbar would go to the city championship game because of the point differential, provided they beat Coolidge next week. Here comes Vaughn Washington, goes up, he gets fouled by Michael Smith. And that'll be the second foul already on Smith. Third team foul for Dunbar. And that'll send Vaughn Washington to the line where he's 0 of 1 on the night. And for Washington, he's 0 of 1 and he tries 2 here to try to cut the Dunbar lead, which stands at 14 right now. Make it 13 as it makes it 65-52. Cardozo down by 13. They can cut it to 12 if Washington makes a free throw right here. Rebound claimed by Morgan. He missed the shot. Rebound claimed by Johnny Rhodes. Here comes Romeo Roach. Comes down the near sideline. Now bring it across. With 6:23, double team. And a foul called on Edward Williams on 15. The fans of Cardozo didn't like that one.
Well, I guess I'm surprised, but it looks like Coach Melise is trying to go for the slowdown. And he's trying to protect what is a 4-point lead. I don't know if that's a correct strategy at this point in time, but it's a daring one. I hope he's right because he's making a very bold decision.
Got a shot at Dunbar's coach Mike McLeese and the rest of the Dunbar team as Romeo Roach goes to the line. Missed the free throw. Rebound claimed by Morgan. And he'll give to Kevin Gregory. Now to Joe Belches for 3. Count it. Joe Belches' first 3 points of the night. That'll make it a 65-55, 10-point Dunbar lead.
I don't think Dunbar should go into a slowdown at this point in time. I think they ought to keep playing the way they were playing. It's hard to protect the lead. So they should keep going into their ball game.
5:49 and counting in the fourth quarter. Dunbar has the ball in a 10-point lead, 65-55. Here comes Rhodes. He'll get behind James Marshall. Ooh, let's see. Gets called for traveling. So a bucket here by Cardozo with 5:40 to go as Mike McLeese wants a timeout for Dunbar. A bucket on the next possession by Cardozo could change the complexion of this ball game.
Well, I think at this point in time, if I were to venture to guess, I would say Dunbar will win the game, but the margin is so important. Cardozo is not quitting, and you believe me, they have their eye on the scoreboard. They're going to try to win, so they're going to keep going. I think Dunbar needs to go back into the mode that they were playing before, run, gun, rebound, get the ball to Mike Smith, get the ball into Dion Murray's hands.
We do approach the time differential, C-Roy. How much time should Dunbar work off the clock? Should they play their natural game?
I think they should play their natural game. That's what got them the lead that they had. As you notice, they have tried to slow it down for the last 2 to 3 minutes, and their lead has been evaporating. I stated at probably about the 6 or 7 minute mark that I thought it was a mistake for them to do that. Again, I still think it's a mistake. I think they need to come out and just play their natural ball game and trust it. That's all I can say.
For those who will have the ball, with 5:40 to go in the fourth quarter. Dunbar, 65. Cardozo, 55. I'm Gary Williams, along with Leroy Robinson of the D.C. Public Schools. Joel Belches to bring it across. Belches finds Williams in the far corner. Now looks inside for Morgan. Missed the shot and rebound claimed by Michael Smith, but he's going to be called for traveling. So it's 5:27 to go in the fourth quarter. Cardozo will get the ball right back underneath the basket. Here's Vaughn Washington looking over to Williams. Now finds Kevin Gregory. Interesting defensive strategy. Deion Murray on Kevin Gregory. And foul, a trip called on Johnny Rhodes. And for Rhodes, and that'll be the third foul for Rhodes, fourth team foul. And Joel Belches, as you were saying, running the point for Cardozo.
And that's an interesting strategy. He's a much taller man than Baylor, so I think they're going to try to overpower Romeo out front and try to cause turnovers.
Belches with the basketball. With 5:13 remaining, he'll go up. Missed the shot and rebound claimed by Johnny Rhodes. He'll give to James Marshall. We approach the 5-minute mark in the fourth quarter. Dunbar with a 10-point lead in the ball. Deion for three. Rebound. Part point claimed by Jamal Morgan. Here's the outlet. Over to Kevin Gregory. Steals it from the shorter Roach. He goes up and scores. Kevin Gregory. It's now an 8-point lead for Dunbar. 65-57. 4:42 and counting. And amazing as it is, people are leaving this ball game. I don't understand that. 4.5 to play. Here comes Romeo Roach. He'll go up. Look inside, the pass stolen by Kevin Gregory. Here comes Cardozo. Morgan goes up. He tries the basket. Now he gets double teamed in the corner. And Williams loses the ball out of bounds. And a tough break for Cardozo there. No, they say a Dunbar player knocks it out. Cardozo gets the ball. I don't know about that one, Coach.
Nope, I don't think that was the right call. But the referee was much closer than we were.
No question about that there. Now, Lorenzo Baylor back into the ball game. He'll come out for Edward Williams. So they'll have Belches and Baylor in the backcourt for Cardozo.
Well, I think they're going to try to extend their defense. They're gambling, and so far it's paying off.
Shot goes out of bounds off the hands of Vaughn Washington for Cardozo. So it's 4:11 to play and counting in the fourth quarter. Dunbar has an 8-point lead, and they have the basketball. Let's see what they do here. They may try to slow it down again. No, it looks like they're going to push it into the fourth quarter a little bit more. As Murray gives to Johnny Rhodes. He's having problems with it. Finds Deion Murray in the corner. He'll go up, get it back out to Rhodes, and Romeo Roach will now set it up. 3:47 and counting. 3-pointer by Murray. Rebound claimed by Murray. Back out to Roach. Roach will drive and get called. It'll be a blocking call on Joe Belches. Joe Belches is third. Both teams in the bonus. And interesting situation here, the free throw shooting, again, playing a factor.
Well, Romeo is a pretty good free throw shooter, and I don't want to give him the kiss of death, but he's been pretty steady all year. Belcher is doing a beautiful job on defense.
Now, Andre Hall, who may be Cardozo's best three-point shooter now in the ball game. Of course, some three-pointers will help. They'll help definitely for the Clerks. As Roach will go for the line, 1-on-1 situation. Now he'll get the bonus. That'll make it a 9-point Dunbar lead. That's so important now, Leroy. 3:36 to go in the fourth quarter. Second one is good. That'll make it a 10-point Dunbar lead, 67-57. Comes Andre Hall. Cross-court pass to Baylor. Baylor looking inside. He'll drive. He'll find Washington, who'll score. Vaughn Washington has 7 on the night. That'll make it an 8-point lead, 67-59. Dunbar has the ball and an 8-point lead. We post a 3-minute mark in the fourth quarter. Murray gives inside to Michael Smith. Smith goes up. He'll go up. Deflected, but the pass. Ball is good, and the foul. Michael Smith's first field goal in the fourth quarter, but a big field goal there.
He was simply overpowered everyone that time. He went up. The first shot was blocked, and he went back up and scored again. He simply overpowered everybody.
Smith will go back to the line as the foul was called on number 41 for Cardozo. 69-59 our score. 3 minutes exactly to play in the fourth quarter. Michael Smith goes to the line. He is 6 of 7 on the line so far tonight. Misses that one, and rebound claimed by Washington. A big free throw miss there. Under 3 minutes to play. Here comes Baylor. He'll give to Andre Hall, who'll shoot from 3. And a rebound claimed by Washington, who scores.
Mike didn't back out that time, and he tried to use his athletic ability, but you've got to get position to rebound. I don't care who you are.
Back to an 8-point lead, 69-61. 2.5 to play. So Deion Murray to get a roach. Now, inside, pass inside to Michael Smith, who jams it. Michael Smith has been unstoppable inside. Makes it a 71-61 Dunbar lead. We approach the 2-minute mark in the fourth quarter. Here comes Andre Hall, he'll drive. He'll give to Kevin Gregory. Missed the shot, and the rebound saved by Johnny Rose.
Key trip here. I think this is the key trip down the floor for Dunbar.
2 minutes and counting in the fourth quarter. Dunbar has the ball, a 10-point lead. Here comes Roach. Roach gets inside to Marshall, who scores. James Marshall. That'll make it a 73-61. Dunbar leads. The fans suddenly close as the ball is thrown by Marshall inside. He scores again. That'll make it a 75-61 Dunbar lead. And the fans have suddenly flooded the floor with 1:39 to play in the fourth quarter. 2 big field goals by Oregon. We have some problems here. 139, look at McLease's team. And we have a major problem here, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, this game may have been ruined by a fight in the stands. And both teams have been taken off the court. The game has been a tremendous ball game. And it looks like both teams will be coming off the court. And it looks like this game may be suspended with 1:39 to play. And Dunbar with a 14-point lead. Should this game be suspended, and Dunbar, if it's like case for tie at the end of the season, would go to the city title game. Look at the scoring totals. Romeo Roach has 15 points. Damon Singletary has 1. Deion Murray, the catalyst in the second half, he had 13 points for the half and 19 for the game. Johnny Rose with 6. James Marshall with 10 on the night. Michael Smith, who was just about unstoppable in the inside paint, had 12 points in the first half and 12 points in the second half for a grand total of 24 unofficially. Now, should this game be suspended, then Dunbar would have a 17-1 inner high lead, tie with Cardozo. And should this game be suspended, it looks like it just might be. Referees Paul Knott and Tony Marlowe did all they could to try to keep control of this game. But when Dunbar got out to that big spurt late in the second half, games got out of control, and the fans started coming on the court, and of course you hate to see that, there's no question about it. But 1:39 to play, the game has been halted, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what Paul Knott and Tony Marlowe decide to do. I don't see them on the court right now. So the possibility this game could be suspended. So good, there's a possibility there, but Cardozo has already left the court. Mike McLeese has already stayed on the court. So we see a lot of the parents and teachers and administrators staying on the court, trying to get things squared away so they can replay this game. Don't forget, we'll be back at Dunbar Senior High School next week as the Crimson Tide of Dunbar hosts the Coolidge Colts. That should be an interesting ball game there, because Coolidge can play the role of the spoilers. Leroy Robinson and I talked about so much earlier in the ball game. Should be an interesting situation there. Coolidge doesn't really have a shot at the inter-high championship. They can cause some problems for both Dunbar and Cardozo, because Coolidge has to play both of them in the next couple of weeks. So next week, game time 8 o'clock, right here, it'll be Dunbar taking on Coolidge. After that, we'll have the inter-high tournament for you. We have the inter-high tournament game that'll be shown on Sunday, March 4th at 4:30 p.m., a special time for inter-high basketball here on DCTV. Sunday, March the 4th, game time 4:30. We'll have one of the inter-high tournament games for you. Then on Wednesday, March the 7th, game time 8 o'clock, we have the inter-high boys championship. Then on Sunday, March 11th, another special time, the inter-high girls championship. Then on Wednesday, March 14th, 8 o'clock, the boys city title game. Then on Sunday, March 18th, the girls city title game. Game time 4:30. And then finally, we're scheduled to have the DC Coaches All-Star game on Wednesday, March 21st at 8 o'clock. That should be a good ball game. Some of the best players around the inter-high. Of course, through our travels here on DCTV, we've talked about that and shown you a lot of the big players there. Should be a good all-star game. For 139 to play in this ball game, see what happens. As Leroy Robinson was over trying to see what was going on. See what was going on over there.
Well, we just had a little disturbance, nothing to it. I wanted, while we have this break, I want to remind everyone, I know you've been talking about the McDonald's All-Star game, but we have the inter-high tournament. And I think this to play tonight is indicative of what you will see during this inter-high tournament. The top six teams in the inter-high will compete. It will be at the Coolidge Fieldhouse. And if you saw last year's tournament, you know what I mean. Both boys and girls, both games came down to one last shot. While we're talking about it, I'd like to mention the young ladies, and particularly the likes of Nadira Ricks, Valerie Rages, Kim Hunsucker. They are all great ball players, and they're going to be on display at this inter-high tournament.
And to also add to what you were saying, Leroy, you're talking about Antoinette Vincent from Coolidge. You have Kendra White of Anacostia, Corinthia Simpson of Eastern, Grace Wiley of Roosevelt, and also Rolanda Williams of Ballou. It just goes on and on as far as the girls part of the tournament. We're going to show some of that, as well as the girls city title game and both DC Coaches All-Star games. Should be an incredible rest of the season.
Well, Turning Point Production is doing the job. I know is this the child of Shell Shock Production?
Most definitely. And Leroy Robinson, once again, thank you for joining us, and hopefully we can able to get this game going on. As now they're going to try to put some time back a little bit on this clock. Score 77-61 as Dunbar leading Cardozo by 16. While we have a moment, let's talk about some of the recent results here for the Inter-High Basketball League, both on the boys and girls side. Cardozo coming into this game had an Inter-High record of 17-0, Leroy, with Dunbar right behind them at 16-1. And we talk about Coolidge being a spoiler, 13-4. We've also seen on DCTV the likes of Ballou and Wanda Oates, coach, and Michael Robinson, their great player. Spingarn's Green Wave with Ephraim Carter, Anacostia with Frank Martin. Some great talent in the Inter-High, no question about it.
No question about it. I want to really point out the play of Frank Martin this year and Robinson for Ballou. Martin will make the McDonald's game. but Robinson has not. I'm hoping that he will make the game that they usually play before, because this kid has a fantastic amount of talent. I think he can go from, he can definitely be a Division I point guard, and he's a point guard who can shoot and can score. I hope that some of the smaller schools who have not paid attention to guys like William Robinson will during these next few games.
By the way, the Capital Classic All-Star game will be on Tuesday, March 27th. The game time's 8 o'clock. Here, game time 8 o'clock here at the Capitol Center, and the District All-Stars will play the Maryland All-Stars in the scholarship game that'll be at 6 o'clock on Tuesday, March 27th.
Well, I'm sure we'll see Robinson from Ballou there. We'll also see some of the guys from Montgomery County, and I sort of grew up in Montgomery County, so I'm a little partial to him. We'll see Andre Cumberbatch from Bethesda Chevy Chase, and a lot of the guys from Kennedy and so on. So I think we're going to have a good time the rest of the season. We've got much basketball, good high school basketball to bring before you.
And speaking on that subject, next week we'll be right back here at Dunbar Senior High School to see the Dunbar Crimson Tide take on the Coolidge Colts. And Coolidge Colts have players such as William Burnett and Kobe Taylor on that ball club. It's a good team. Brian Pendleton's playing extremely well for the Colts, so it should be an interesting contest there.
Always Coolidge and Dunbar. Last year, they played three of the finest games I'll ever see. Not discounting this one, because this has been a very good ball game. We hope that you will find time the remainder of the season to come on out and support our youngsters. I know that they would appreciate seeing their parents and their friends here.
I'd like to congratulate somebody on the football side. That would be Norman Williams from Eastern Senior High School, who recently signed, we talked this, with Ohio State, the Buckeyes. And someone you're very familiar with is Norman Williams, and a good player he is, no question about it.
Well, I think Ohio State made the right choice in the D.C. area. Norman Williams is definitely a big-time ball player, and he can only help Coach Cooper's squad. I'm partial to Ohio State because I had a son that attended there, so I hope that Norman will go out and show them how the D.C. kids can play.
We get back to this ball game. We look at the two coaches. On your left is Michael McLeese with his arms folded. In the sweater, that's Henry Lindsay. And they're trying to decide now what they're going to do as far as this game's concerned. This game is not over. 1:39 to play. And Dunbar has the ball in a 16-point lead, 77-61. Right now, both coaches are talking over with the athletic director for the D.C. Public Schools, that's Sam Jones. And some of the officials there for the Inter High League are there, and they're trying to decide what we can do now. We just have a minute 39 to play. And it's been a tremendous ball game, exciting from start to finish, and we'd like to see it end. No question about it. So Sam Jones now talking it over with some of the officials. Seems to be a happy celebration there. Happy conversation, I should say. So looks like all signs are positive, and they'll get this game back in order. But talk about this game. Was there a turning point in this ball game? Was it in the third quarter when Deion Murray for Dunbar started going well?
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Deion showed what he can do. He had a so-so first half for him. He came back out. He started hitting the jumper. He scored 11 points in a quarter where they needed it. He kept them in the ball game. He made some very heady plays. Romeo, he continued to play well. He wasn't shooting as well, but he continued to make heady plays. Jamal Brown, he continued to play well. He spelled Romeo for better than 10 minutes for the ball game, and I think that's a key point.
What about the play of Michael Smith? You can't say enough about that, I guess. The rebounding especially, Steve Roy.
Well, Mike, he has all the basics. One play where he sealed off his man and went up and jammed the ball. Another play, he comes down, he blocks his man out, he takes the defensive rebound, he runs down the other end of the floor and he scores. That's the kind of ball player that Mike Smith is. I'm so glad that I'm in the Big East area, and I'll be able to watch Mike Smith a little bit more. Of course, it'll be against Georgetown, but, you know, so be it.
We neglected to give Cardozo scoring for the second half, before the ball game, as to this point. Joe Belches has 3. Andre Hall with 12. Lorenzo Baylor with 10. 9 points out of Vaughn Washington. Kevin Gregory played well so far for Cardozo, 23 points, and 4 points out of Jamal Morgan. Some big play out of Kevin Gregory for the Clerks.
Well, Cardozo's record, 17-0. That's no fluke. They're playing here on Dunbar's territory, and they've acquitted themselves well. They've had a couple of points in the game where they lost their poise, and they took a couple of bad shots or made a couple of bad decisions. But other than that, I think they played a very fine game. They know what the magic number is. But be that dismayed, whatever they do in this ball game, they're going to go out and try to play very well against Coolidge and continue the season. That's the kind of coach that Coach Lindsey is, and that's the kind of players I think he has.
So it looks like this game will get back underway. 1 minute, 39 seconds. Dunbar has come back on the court. It looks like Cardozo is about to follow suit. We have a 77-61 ball game with 1:39 to play in the fourth quarter. And we'll see what happens here. Don't forget, next week we'll be at Dunbar Senior High School once again, right back here on 1st and N Street Northwest, to see the Coolidge Coats come in and take on the Dunbar Crimson Tide. Following that, we have 3 Sunday broadcasts that we're going to have. Thanks for your support on DCTV and the DC Public Schools. Be able to get more basketball on there other than our Wednesday night telecast. We have 3 Sunday afternoon telecasts during the Inter-High tournament. One of the Inter-High tournament games. We have the girls championship on Sunday, March 11th. We also have the City Girls title game on March 18th. All those Sunday times will be 4:30 in the afternoon.
Well, the new development is the girls' title game, and I'm sure the young ladies are very pleased that they're going to be able to put their talents on display. I don't know who's going to go. We've got 2 teams right now vying for the title. That's, of course, H.D. Woodson and Wilson with Nadira Ricks. Valerie Rages, of course, leads H.D. Woodson. So whoever goes, I think we're going to have a very fine representative, and they'll acquit themselves well.
Well, the Catholic schools, one of the big Catholic schools who possibly could be in that City Girls title game is a team out of O'Connell. We have the Finney twins, Kathy and Christy Finney. Some great talent there. So whoever goes for the Inter-High against whoever goes from the Catholic schools should be a great ball game.
Well, I think the young ladies that we have in the Inter-High can play with anybody. If you've seen Nadira, she can dominate a ball game from the guard spot. Valerie, of course, is one of the best shooters you'll ever see. I think Kim Humcirker is one of the ball players who's sort of the glue of the H.D. Woodson club. She won't score a lot of points, but she will always be in position. She'll rebound and she'll play defense well. So I think that we have quite a treat in the girls' title game, be it Woodson, be it Wilson. We will acquit ourselves well.
Scheduled to see that game, by the way, Sunday, March 18th here on DCTV. The game time is 4:30. So it looks like we'll get this game underway. Dunbar is back on the court. Number 12, Romeo Roach. 13 is Deion Murray. 15, Johnny Rhodes. 21 is James Marshall. And 32 is Michael Smith. Let's see what Henry Lindsay will come out for Cardozo. Let's see what happens there.
Well, I think he's got to come out shooting. He understands what he has to do. 8 points is crucial to him. I don't think he can come back at this point in time because Dunbar is going to try to slow the game down. I did notice that Dunbar sort of got out of that slow-down ball game. They tried to push the ball inside. Mike made a couple of dunks and a couple of good plays. So that's the kind of ball game they've got to play to win. I don't think the slow-down ball game is their type of ball game.
So those inbounds, and here we go as the clock has not started. Now we go 1:39 and count it. Here's Baylor going into Andre Hall, who'll stop and miss the shot. Long rebound claimed by Baylor with 1.5 minutes to play. Here comes Baylor. Man-to-man by Deion Murray. Now Baylor will stop and pop and miss. Rebound claimed for out to Joe Belches. He'll miss. Rebound by Washington. Now they're all crashing the boards. Washington gets his own rebound and scores. And immediately a timeout by Henry Lindsay at Cardozo. 77-63. Dunbar has a 14-point lead.
5-point lead. A 5-point lead for the possible Inter-High championship berth. So that's why he called time at this point in time, to collect his troops and remind them we've got 5 points to try to make up here. Let's play the good defense. Let's get back and do what we have to do.
Not only do they have a 9-point plus minus to work with, they also had 5 chances at the boards there. And those that crashed the boards heavily, probably the best I've seen so far this ballgame.
Well, I knew they had to come out shooting. They had to come out aggressive. Dunbar, to its credit, did not make the foolish foul, because if they had, then possibly it was a 3-point play.
So Dunbar were inbound with 1:12 to go in the fourth quarter. They have the ball in a 14-point lead. It's Rose. Marshall will give the Rose now over to Michael Smith, who gets fouled and missed the shot, but he fouled. And the foul will be called on Joel Belches. We have Belches for 4 fouls so far in this game.
Well, Belcher has played a very fine game. He seems to be the defensive stopper. As he got back there, he was on the other end of the floor, and he sprinted down to make a block on Mike Smith. He has done a very fine job, both playing defense on both the guards and the forwards.
Michael Smith back at the line. We're 6 of 8. Making 6 of 9. He misses that one. He has 24 so far tonight. That's not his season high. Michael Smith's season high is 42 that he scored in a tournament out in Las Vegas against Linwood High of California.
This is a crucial free throw because with the 3-pointer in play, that's 2 trips down the floor, and Dunbar and Cardozo's proven they can shoot the 3-pointer.
Is Baylor shooting the 3-pointer? Rebound by Kevin Gregory. He's under a minute to play. Gregory gets fouled, and the basket's good. That is a 3-pointer. The 3-pointer by Kevin Gregory. That's the foul.
Possible 4-point play. A possible 4-point play. I think that the Dunbar youngster believe he could block the shot, but I would just let him take that shot. If he makes it, he makes it.
Foul called on 15, Johnny Rhodes, and that's going to be Rhodes' 4th. So Gregory goes to the line, try to cut the Dunbar lead to 11 with 56 seconds and counting to play in this fourth quarter. Gregory has 26 on the night. Make it 27. 78-67. Dunbar with an 11-point lead. Here comes Murray. He gets fouled. And a foul will be called on Belches, I believe, number 14. And unofficially, we have him for 5 fouls, but apparently the official score has him just 4. So they're the official one, so we'll go with that. As Deion Murray goes to the line. Murray has 19, making 20 points on the night. And he may have been the star of this ball game.
Well, that's finished Deion Murray there. He goes to the line, he knows what he has to do, and he fires it up. He's all business.
Murray is 4 from the line. Make it 5 of 5. Talk about your shooter's roll there. 79-67. Correction, 80-67. The 3-point attempt is no good. The rebound claimed by James Marshall. Here comes Marshall, bring it out of the pack. He'll go up and score. 82-67. 35 seconds and counting. And a traveling violation called against Cardozo with 34 seconds to play.
Well, it looks like a Dunbar victory, and it looks like they're going to be able to maintain a better than 8-point lead.
But this season isn't over yet, because we still got a whole bunch of basketball to play. Some good teams involved in it, including Coolidge.
Well, the Coolidge coach, they're prime. They're ready to play.
Here comes Johnny Rose. Another field goal. 84-67. 3-pointer by Gregory. Rebound claimed by Smith. Here it comes. 17 seconds. Smith gets fouled by Joel Belches. And that should be Belches' 5th with 15 seconds to play. Now let's see what happens. No, they still don't have 5 fouls for Belches. So let's see what happens here. As with just 15 seconds to play, actually it is the 5th foul for Belches. So that'll send Michael Smith back to the line with just 15 seconds to play. Dunbar in command, a 17-point lead, 84-67. Smith doing extremely well from the line. He is 7 of 9. Correction, he is 7 of 9. Correct. 7 of 9 from the line. He'll go for 1 and 1 here. Rebound missed and out of bounds to Dunbar. And McLeese wants a timeout. Mike McLeese wants a timeout for the ball club with 14 seconds to play. Dunbar has a 17-point lead, 84-67.
Well, at this point in time, it looked like Dunbar's in the driver's seat. But we remind you again that they've got 2 games to play. With both teams have to play Coolidge. And Coolidge is not going to lay dead. They are going to give both teams everything they got, and they will have to play to earn the right to play in Coalfield House.
Crowd starting to file out here at Dunbar Senior High School with 14 seconds to play, but I have a feeling, Leroy, a lot of that crowd will be back here next week when Dunbar plays Coolidge. Game time for that one here on DCTV will be 8 o'clock. And again, some Coolidge fans will be here as well.
Well, Dunbar can't let down. They've got to play hard the same way they played this game all the way. They've got to play their game. They've got to do the things that they do best.
Shot goes up and rebound claimed by Gregory with 8 seconds. Here goes Gregory. The countdown is on. And the game is over. That'll be it. The clock says 2 seconds, but the official, Tony Marlowe, has called the game. Your final score, Dunbar 84, Cardozo 67, here at Dunbar Senior High School. So Dunbar Senior High Crimson Tide, their fans go home happy. A big victory for the Crimson Tide of Michael McLeese. And that will raise the Dunbar record to 17-1 in the inner high and 27-3 overall. Cardozo will be 17-1 also in the inner high, and it will be 19-2 overall. So final analysis, Leroy Robinson.
Well, I believe that Dunbar exerted itself on his floor. The play, of course, Mike Smith, Deion Murray in the second half, Romeo Roach in the first half. Again, I think the key matchup was Baylor and Roach and how they went. I think Roach stayed into his game a little bit more. He had a lot of help from Jamal Brown and from Deion Murray. Baylor lost his cool at a couple of points in the game, but he also showed great leadership. He came back, he made a couple of three-pointers, and did what he had to do. I think that both schools, both coaches, can be very proud of the teams. They're very, very good athletes. They showed us the way that a basketball game should be played. I'm sorry, but one team will have to lose or does lose. But I think that the inner high definitely profited from this type of game tonight.
Leroy Robinson, my thanks to you for your work tonight. Great job and a great situation.
Well, I wouldn't miss being here. I didn't know I was going to have to do this, but as always, I stand ready to help out with turning point conductions and shell shock. So keep up the good work. I think you're doing a great job by putting our youngsters' talents before the public. We hear so much of the negative. This is the positive, and we need to do more of it.
Good enough. Well, thanks once again, Leroy Robinson. Hopefully we can get both coaches out here for an interview. Final score once again, Dunbar Crimson Tide 84, Cardozo Clerks 67. We'll have some coaches for you in just a moment. Back here at Dunbar Senior High School, 1st and N Street Northwest, as the Dunbar Crimson Tide has defeated the Cardozo Clerks in a big ball game by the score of 84-67. Standing with the coach of the Dunbar Crimson Tide, Michael McLeese. And Coach, a big victory tonight.
Yes, it was, Gary. I thought the guys were very focused and played real well.
Two of those plays in particular that myself and Leroy Robinson, my color commentator, talked about. the matchup between Romeo Roach of Dunbar, Lorenzo Baylor, and Cardozo. Let's talk about that first.
Well, I think Romeo had a score to settle with Lorenzo, and you know what happens when you're playing and you're both the same size, and I think Romeo just wanted to let Lorenzo know that he could play the game a little bit also.
Second half, the play of Dion Murray kind of sparked your ball club.
Well, Dion is a senior, and as we talked about, we've been in big ball games before, and Dion knows what to do in those situations, and he just stepped up like a senior's supposed to and shot the ball very well.
Of course, your All-American Michael Smith. Talk about his play.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. He's an All-American, and when you're in a big ball game like that, and he knows what's on the line, and he just rises to the occasion. I'm fortunate to have a player like Michael Smith in my program.
Roy Robinson, talk about the point differential. You're in the driver's seat right now because of the 17-point victory tonight, but you still got Coolidge next week. I talk about that game and how are you going to get your team back to play that game?
Well, not only do we have Coolidge next week, we have back-to-back games with McKinley, and also we have Easton. So we still have our work cut out for us. Fortunately for us, Cardozo has Coolidge also on their schedule. So if we like controlling our own destiny, and if we can win our remaining 4 ball games, then everything else will fall into place for us.
Well, the best luck to you, Coach, and the rest of your ball club.
Thank you, Gary. Appreciate it.
Okay, so that's Dunbar coach Mike McLeese as his Crimson Tide defeat the Cardozo Clerks by a score of 84-67. So once again, your final score here at Dunbar Senior High School, the Dunbar Crimson Tide 84, the Cardozo Clerks 67. Let's look at the final scoring totals unofficially. For Cardozo, they had Joe Belches with 3, Andre Hall with 12, Lorenzo Baylor with 10, Vaughn Washington with 13, Kevin Gregory, high scorer for the Clerks, 26 points here, and Jamal Morgan with 4. Final total 67 for the Clerks of Cardozo. For the Dunbar Crimson Tide, they were led by Michael Smith with 26 points, Dion Murray with 20, Romeo Roach had 15, James Marshall had 12, 8 points out of Johnny Rose, and 1 point from Damon Singletary, their final 84 points. Once again, your final, Dunbar 84, Cardozo 67. Don't forget, next week, we'll be right back here at Dunbar Senior High School to see the Crimson Tide take on the Colts of Coolidge. Should be a big ball game here at Dunbar. Game time, 8 o'clock. And, of course, coming down the line, the Inter-High Tournament, the girls and boys city title game, and the DC Coaches All-Star game. You'll see all that right here on DC TV, brought to you by Turning Point Video Productions. For our executive producer, Joseph Ankrum, our camera operator, Elise Perry, our production assistant, Fern Carpusas, and we welcome Kevin Bynum, who is our audio engineer today, to his first broadcast here on Turning Point Video. And for everybody here at Turning Point Video Productions, and for C. Roy Robinson of DC Public Schools, who ably assisted me on color commentary, I'm Gary Williams saying so long from Dunbar Senior High School. We'll be right back here at Dunbar when the Crimson Tide take on Coolidge. Until then, have a very pleasant and good night, everyone.